Josh, I've got a printout. Do you want it?
Where is it?
You want a printout?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Um, this bill basically deals with proxy advisors, the Transparency Act. Proxy advisors hold tremendous sway in U.S. markets because investors depend on proxy advisors for advice on how to vote on their shares. Many investors use the proxy advisors based on DOL guidelines that fiduciaries must vote proxy shares due to the potential effect on shareholder value, and proxy advisors represent that they attempt to increase shareholder value. But proxy advisors often recommend votes against management that harm shareholder value, such as asking airplane manufacturer to align its lobbying with net zero goals to cap flights at 2019 levels and use more expensive fuel, asking a restaurant chain to set emission targets which could impact farmers in the supply chain, and asking an oil and gas company to set Paris Agreement aligned emission targets. These things are not in the best interest. And so proxy advisors admitted they do not conduct financial analysis to assess the effect on shareholder value before making these recommendations. States can ensure that investors using proxy advisors are given truthful information related to those advisors' recommendations. The bill would require a proxy advisor to either disclose when a recommendation or policy to vote against a company management is not based on a written financial analysis, or if a recommendation is based on a written financial analysis, they can provide that to companies upon request and to clients. Investors receiving this information will be put on notice that the following recommendation or policy may not meet fiduciary duties. And enforcement, the violation of the bill will be considered a violation of the state's unfair and deceptive acts and practices law. So that's essentially what it does. It's just requiring proxy advisors to disclose whether or not their votes are based on a financial reason or if it's an ulterior motive.
Do any of the committee members have any questions? Do you have any questions? We have a committee sub that has a reverse repealer in it. So move adoption of the committee sub. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? No. Motion's title sufficient, do pass committee sub. If there are no more questions, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll pass that bill out. Thank you. Next up, we have Senate Bill 2769. This is also a committee sub. If you remember, Lieutenant Governor set out a housing task force during the summer to look at where in the state we may have a demand for housing that is not being met. In the hearing that we had and with subsequent conversations, we found that housing issues across our state and around the country have multiple different reasons for them, some at the federal level and some at the local level. And from a state perspective, we looked for ways that we could potentially help with the supply part of the supply chain and see if we can't make some housing more affordable for people in parts of our state that cannot find housing that fits their budget. One of the ways that we looked at doing that is what you have before you. This is a work in progress, so we have added a reverse repealer in this bill so that we can continue to work on it. What this would set forth is a fund with Mississippi Home Corp that would be a revolving loan program where people who are interested in selling their existing home would be able to get an amount up to $30,000 that would go towards repairs and maintenance to their home that would make it marketable or more lendable. It is a short-term 6-month loan. There's possibility for a 3-month extension, but it would be tied to them selling their home. So the point of it is to have a home ready to sell. And when we look at what a starter home is, we in this define a starter home value by taking a multiple of the median income for a city or county and give it a leeway of 20% to try to find where a home in Madison and a home in Mize, Mississippi may have a different, there may be a different median income, so a different starter home price. And so we've taken that and tried to make an opportunity for homes to be on the market sooner to meet that demand. And if y'all have any questions, I'm happy to field them and also open to suggestions. Senator Delano?
So where would the funds initially come from?
It would be subject to appropriation, and we do not set forth an amount. We leave it completely up to appropriation for the initial funding of it.
Okay, so to put it in context of some things that we've dealt with over the past couple of years and in the Pine Belt area, if someone has a house that they're wanting to put on the market, and their roof is greater than 15 years old, would there be is this proposing an avenue for a seller to be able to go and replace their roof using up to $30,000 of funds?
That's correct. And the way the bill is written, it would, there are some criteria. The maximum loan amount is $30,000, but it also cannot be greater than the difference between 85% of a BPO or broker price opinion based on the repairs being done, less any liens. And we would also need a quote or estimate from a licensed and insured contractor, and we would be making that loan to the need of the repair. And it would be tied in with that person, the seller, with having a listing agreement signed to have the property listed so that we ensure it goes on the market.
Okay. Well, Mr. Chairman, I think you're trying to address an issue that has obviously been pointed out that we need to do some work on. As you move forward with this, I would like to incorporate some of the things that we're doing with the Department of Insurance for some mitigation with our mitigation program, because some of this may overlap to some extent. And I would just like to make sure that if someone does replace a roof, that it's done with a roof that the insurance companies have acknowledged that they will provide a lower cost of premium for that roof. And then my next question would be, I'm going to use this terminology, and it's because this is what we do. This is how we say it in practice. But how do we not just be accused of putting lipstick on a pig?
Or homes.
Mm-hmm.
So in the bill, it refers more to structural. It's not just a cosmetic fix. It's really things like windows, doors, electrical boxes that are currently on a fuse that we could get to a breaker box. Things that make a home qualify for more lending opportunities. It's not just a cosmetic. So it includes things like fixing the foundation, roof, HVAC. It is more structural and functional repairs than cosmetic repairs.
And you spoke about a BPO or a broker's price opinion. Would there be a requirement for a demonstration of pre-loan versus post-loan as far as value or marketability of the home? Market price of the home. So in other words, there should be a delta that's commensurate with not only the cost of the loan, but some type of an interest.
You mean it's an as is value versus a
Yeah.
fixed up? Yeah. So the BPO is based on what the home would be based on the repairs that are quoted or the estimate that's provided.
Okay.
So it's an end closer to what the list price would be when it is listed.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'd love to work with you a little bit further on this bill as we work through it. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Senator Boyd?
And you may have said this, and I was trying to look through here. Does the homeowner have to have a certain percentage of equity in the home? Like, have we required a certain percentage of that for them to be?
Yes. So the maximum loan that we would make cannot exceed 85% of the value of the home. And so that less any liens that they have would be the max up to 30,000.
Okay.
Again, this is a work in progress. It is a difficult challenge to try to address some issues from the state level without causing more harm to the market. And so I welcome any feedback as we work through this or other suggestions and ideas that you have. Like I mentioned at the beginning, what we found from the hearing, and for those of you who attended, we have different constraints from interest rates, insurance premiums that drive up the cost of ownership of a home. There's plenty of opportunities for people to get financing for homes with minimum down payment. But that also leads to a higher monthly payment, which is where most people are struggling. Additionally, the cost of any repairs and maintenance has gone up tremendously. And then the cost of homes has gone up. And all of us who own homes love the fact that our home value goes up or that the land and lots around us goes up, but that has a negative effect on people's ability to buy at what we would define as a starter home. And so, and at a local level, we've heard that one of the biggest issues that developers run into in new homes is with minimum lot size and minimum square footage. There's many reasons why that may be the case, from infrastructure limitations to some neighbors not wanting smaller homes next to their larger homes. And so there's a multitude of reasons why it has become difficult to build a home that is considered a starter home in many areas of the state. And so as we address that, I welcome all feedback. But there is a reverse repealer in here, and I do want to see what we can work on going forward. And if there's no other questions, I'd entertain a motion. Move adoption of the committee sub. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Is there a motion on the bill? Motion is tile sufficient to pass committee sub. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right. Motion's rise report. All those in favor?